weeks. Raise your hand. What have we been talking about all for several weeks now? Pumpkins. Correct. So we're going to do some review from yesterday. Do you remember these pictures?
I can't even see.
From the life cycle? Remember these? Okay, so we're going to do what we did yesterday.
Can I do it this way?
Yeah, I'll call on them one at a time. So I'm going to see if you guys remember what order these go in for the life cycle
Oh,
of
we
the pumpkin.
do.
Oh, you do? Okay, so what does it start off as? It's really tiny. So guys, raise your hand. I need one friend to come up here and find the picture of the seed. TT, can you come find the picture of the seed? So we're going to do the seed because it starts off as a little bitty seed. Go find the one that says seed on it. It starts with an S.
You know what? How many? So many stars. There are so many things.
We'll get to that one in a little bit.
No, we need to open the top of the pumpkin.
Okay, let's put
We need
that
to
up here.
open the top of the pumpkin.
Just put it up here for me. Yep, let's show our friends. Milo, are you looking? Okay. So our first, it starts off as a what, guys? What's it called? A seed. Thank you, TT. Okay, if you think you know what comes after seed, raise your hand. Kinley.
I'm gonna do this song.
Okay, let's show our friends. So Kinley found it. What is this called? A sprout. Very good. So first is what? Then a sprout. Okay. After it's a sprout, raise your hand if you think you know what it becomes. Milo. Okay, Milo, you got it. Let's show our friends. So Milo found it. What's this called? Starts with a V. Vine. Very good. So we'll put that after our sprout. Thank you. Okay. So it starts as a what? The real small? A seed. Then the seed turns into a what? A sprout. Then our sprout becomes a what? A vine. And then our vine grows and grows. Raise your hand if you think you know what that is.
Green pumpkin.
Not quite yet. One more thing before that, Henry. Do you know what it is? Not yet. Okay, we'll have some. Tia, do you know what it is? The flower. Very good. So Tia, here's the flower. Let's put that after our vine.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So it starts as a what? Really little seed. Then our seed is rooted and it grows into a what? Our sprout. Then our sprout grows more and turns into a vine. Very good. And it turns into a flower. Oh, hold on. Remember, you gotta raise your hand. After it's a flower, what does it become?
Green pumpkin.
Henry, come find the green pumpkin for me.
You like him?
Very good. So let's put that after our flower. Thank you. Okay. This is the one you guys have all been waiting for. So drum roll. What does it become after it's a green pumpkin? Julian, come do the orange pumpkin. Thank you. All right, so let's go through all of them together. First, it's a what? Then it turns into a and a orange. Very good. Okay. So everybody first thing you should do at the very top of your paper, what should you write at the very top of your paper? Write your name at the very top of the paper. If you have your name on your paper, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so my paper looks like yours. So I'm going to write my name too. Okay, so after you have your name on top, give me a thumbs up. I think we're still waiting on a few friends. That's okay. Okay, so after you have your name, get out your crayons.
I have a pencil.
Okay, so we're going to use our crayons for this next part, Henry. So put your pencil back in your art box. And then I want everyone to use your pointer finger and point up. Point up to the ceiling for me. We are going to do, everyone take your finger and put it on this box right here. This is our first box that we're going to do. And we're going to only do this one. So are we going to do this one? No. Are we going to do this one down here? No. We're going to start with this one. So just start with this one, not do any of the others yet. We'll get to them. Okay. So, everybody, you can take your pumpkin. I put it maybe right next to you so you can see it. And you're going to draw what your pumpkin looks like in this box.
Everybody getting
So you're going to need the colored crayons that are the colors of your pumpkin. Okay? Yep.
They're gonna color our own pumpkin.
Yep, you're going to color what your pumpkin looks like in this box right here.
But mine has a little bit of dirt on it, so yeah.
If it has some dirt on it, you can draw that too. Or if the pumpkin has some green on it a little bit, you can draw that.
Milo.
Okay, when you're done, yep, give me 5. Make sure you draw this part. This part is called the stem. So make sure you draw your stem on there too. You did? Okay, if you're done drawing your pumpkin, raise your hand.
I have on this side of the office room.
Okay, if you're still working, work quietly.
Remember when I covered up 5?
If you're done, raise your hand. Henry, are you done with your pumpkin? Okay.
Let's go put these.
Oh, so Henry, just leave it right there. We won't need it right yet. So just raise your hand if you're done drawing. I like your guys' pictures. They look good. fantastic. I love it. Because remember in science we when we make an observation, that means we draw it or see. We're drawing it how we see it, what it actually looks like. Okay, so we're
Because
getting
my piece
close.
of dirt on it, so yeah.
Okay, so if you're done drawing, remember we're quietly have our hands up.
Oh, it's a balloon.
Can remember your hands up if you're done. Okay.
I shouldn't have.
Okay, everyone give me your trusty pointer finger again to the sky.
I'm going to put open.
We're gonna go to this box. So point to this box for me. Next, you're gonna look at the size of your pumpkin. The size means how big or how small it is. So you're gonna see, is my pumpkin small? Is my pumpkin medium size? Or is my pumpkin large or big? So,
Medium.
my pumpkin, I would say my pumpkin's medium size. It's not as little as Julian's is a little bit smaller than mine, but then
Mine is bigger than yours.
Tia's is a little bit bigger than mine. So I'm gonna circle medium. So you look at your pumpkin and see what size you think it is and circle that one.
Or color it in.
You can circle or color it in, it's your choice.
I'm going to color it in.
You can color it in.
I want big too.
And when you're done circling or coloring yours in, give me a thumbs up.
I don't know what
You're not sure? What do you think your pumpkin looks like?
I did balls. My pumpkin is big. See, pumpkin? Can I see yours? No, you're drawing. I have
Okay, so if you are done circling or coloring, give me thumbs up. Milo and Henry, if you're done circling, give me your thumbs up for me. Thank you. So, does someone want to share what size their pumpkin is? What did you think? Kinley, what size did you put? Medium. Very good. So yeah, yours does look kind of a medium size. Julian, what about yours? Julian put small for his. Did anyone have a large pumpkin? Did anyone circle or color large?
I circled large.
You did. Henry circled large. Tia circled large. TT, what about yours? Yours is big, I know. You did a small one. Yes. So they're all different shapes and sizes.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. So all of our pumpkins are different shapes and sizes, and some of them have even different
You
colors.
haven't even asked me yet.
Okay, so give me your pointer finger again. That way I know we're ready to move on. We're gonna go to this box. Point to this box. So this one, we're gonna need something else. So we're gonna get in our work box, but quietly, because we have friends back there working. So quietly get out some cubes. I'd get out 10 cubes.
What can
We probably won't need all 10, but get 10 cubes out of your box.
color?
Any colors you want. Yep, you can use those. I'm gonna get some over here. So when you have your cubes, quietly set them next to your pumpkin like Julian has his. Hold it down with your finger.
One more round.
Okay, remember we gotta quietly get our cubes out.
You do the exact same thing as Julian.
So if you have your cubes ready, put them next to your pumpkin.
I have 11.
Take one off. There you go. Okay, Henry, put your cubes quietly next to your pumpkin for me, like Julian does. Like Tia has hers. We might need a few more, but when you have your cubes ready, put them next to your pumpkin. That way I know we can do this together.
Because look, what's that put up?
So we're gonna use our cubes, so I'll get started if we're ready. We're gonna use our cubes to see how tall our pumpkin is. So I'm gonna start. Do you think I need some more? Is my pumpkin this tall?
No.
So Milo, look at mine. Is my pumpkin this tall? Or should I add a few more to see how tall it is? I need a few more.
Look how mine is.
So you guys can start taking your cubes.
Hey, I need more. What's that in?
So guys, we're measuring just to this part right here, just to the bottom of your stem.
Okay.
So when you get there, so make sure your cubes are sitting flat. That way we can get a correct measurement.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, if you guys have your cubes,
I need 9 blocks for mine.
if you have them to the correct height, raise your hand and I'm gonna come look. Actually, we're gonna count mine first. So how many does mine have? Ready? Henry, your cube should be sitting next to your pumpkin like this. Is it? Did you get yours? So set it tall, like up and down.
I did not.
You got yours? Okay.
I have mine.
Okay, so Henry, you have to set yours up and down like this, right how mine is. Right there. Okay, so let's count mine first. Actually, Tia, I think yours is one less. I think yours is all right. It's a little bit shorter.
No, it's not.
Okay, everyone look at mine real quick. So Milo, look at mine. Kinley, look at mine. Henry is looking. Julian, we don't need those cubes right now. Milo, are you looking at my pumpkin? Okay, let's count how tall mine is. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, on my paper, I'm going to write my pumpkin. 1 second. I'm going to write.
Mine is 7 inches tall.
Oh, 1 second. My pumpkin is 9 cubes tall. So your job is to count how many cubes high your pumpkin is and write that number in the blank on your paper, okay? And if you need help, raise your hand so I can see. I can help you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yours is 9? Okay, you got your 9 written down?
I did 9.
You got it? Okay, if you got your number written down.
Mine is
If you got-
8.
Oh, 1 second. If you got your number written down, raise your hand so I can see it. I'll come around and look at
Wait,
it.
no, mine's not.
Some of yours might be taller than mine. Some of yours might be shorter. We're going to talk about how tall or short they are.
Mine is 8. So is mine. So does mine. So is mine. So is mine. He's almost too heavy for me.
Remember, our pumpkins are staying
It falls on my leg.
Okay, if you have your number written on your paper, Henry, just set your cubes right here so that way we can see how tall it is. Okay, thank you. If you have your number written down on your paper, give me thumbs up. If you think you have the tallest pumpkin in here, raise the roof. If you think you have the tallest pumpkin, raise the roof. Henry, how many cubes tall is your pumpkin?
8. He's an 8. Like mine.
What'd you write down on your paper?
8.
8. So Henry, you'll put your name.
I write 8.
Henry's was 8 cubes tall. Milo, how many was
8.
yours? Okay, so are Milo and Henry's pumpkins, are they both have 8, they're both 8 cubes tall. So what does that mean? If they're both 8 cubes tall, what does that mean? That means they're equal. So Henry, just close your art box. We don't need anything in there TT, how tall is your pumpkin? Yours was 8?
Just like all three of us.
I know. And mine was 9 too. Okay.
9.
So Kinley, Tia, and me, our pumpkins tied for the biggest pumpkins in the room.
Wait.
Last week, I think we had someone that had 10. So they're
What?
really tall. I can't remember who it was, but we did have someone that
Well, we gotta bring our own pumpkin.
Guys,
I would be ready.
okay, so now we are done with our cubes. So let's put those we don't need them anymore, so let's put them back in our work box. Put your
But
cubes,
how are we gonna put our pumpkin out?
put your cubes back in your work box and the lid back on, because we don't need our work box anymore.
No, we're up.
Remember, we gotta do it quietly because our friends are working back there. Okay, if you have your work box closed and you're ready to move to the next box, raise your finger for it. Okay, so take your finger and we're gonna go to this part right here. This part you can do at home because you guys get to take your pumpkins home today. But this part we're gonna do together. So Miss Gibson's gonna come around and draw a line on your pumpkin. And so after you have your line drawn on your pumpkin, give me 5. That way I know you have it. So if you have the line drawn on your pumpkin, raise your hand for me.
Want to switch stems?
So Milo, if your line's drawn on your pumpkin, everyone will raise their hand. And everybody tell Miss Gibson thank you for drawing those on there. Thank you. Okay. So first off, I didn't even teach you how to carry your pumpkin. What was I thinking? So when you carry your pumpkin, you need to hold it kind of like when you hold your iPad or your library book. You need to hold it, you can hug it, or hold it with 2 hands on the bottom. Because if you hold it by the stem, that's gonna make it break off or it's gonna rot. And we don't want it to rot.
It's not gonna break by mine.
So Henry, you gotta hold it with 2 hands on the bottom.
Or it's gonna fall on my toes.
Because if we hold it by the stem, it'll get gross. And I don't want it to get gross. So, we'll count mine first. So, yeah, and sometimes our stems are spiky, so we don't want it to hurt our hands. So everyone, look up here at me. So give me 5. So, Tia, we don't need our pumpkin quite yet. So you can set your pumpkin down because it's kind of heavy. Milo, you can set it next to you.
Mine is fine too.
So Henry, you can set your pumpkin next to you.
My stem is fine.
I know. So, everyone look up here at mine. Everyone look up here at mine. So the next thing we're going to do, Henry, are you looking at mine? I'm going to show you this cool thing. T, are you looking at my pumpkin? Henry, are you looking at my pumpkin? Okay. So, we're going to count the lines on our pumpkin. And let me tell you this cool fact. If your pumpkin has a lot of lines, that means it has a lot of seeds in there. So the more lines, the more seeds in your pumpkin, which when you have a lot of seeds in your, so what does a seed do?
Grow.
It's the very thing, you need a seed to make a pumpkin grow. So it's really cool when your pumpkin has lots of lines on there because that means there's more seeds, there's more pumpkins to grow. So that's kind of cool.
But I'm not gonna go to see in our garden.
You're not gonna grow them at your
No,
house?
I meant like.
Yeah.
Oh, I already did.
So guys, give me 5 real quick. So, we're gonna start at my black line, and I want you, I need your help to count the lines on my pumpkin. You ready? So 1 second. So they're kind of hard to see sometimes, but if you kind of hold it down like this, it helps you count them. So we're just counting mine real quick. So you guys don't need your pumpkin yet. So everyone help me out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh my goodness. So mine has 22 lines. So I'm going to set my pumpkin down. And
I know that my pumpkin has 100.
so when you know how many lines your pumpkin has, you're going to write that number. So mine is 22. So I need to put 2, 2 right here on this line. And guys, real quick, before you get started, give me 5. Everyone give me 5 real quick. Give me 5. So I know some of the lines on some of you guys might have a lot of lines on your pumpkins, and you might need help counting. So if you need help counting, that's okay, and a teacher will come and help you, okay? So I'm going to walk around, and if you need help, raise your hand. You
I
need some
have
help?
30.
You do? Okay, I'll come count with you. We'll check it. I bet you do. Yours is big.
Then we are gonna cut it up, right? We're gonna cut it then up. You know what I'm wearing?
20. You know how to write a 20? 20 is a 2 and a 0. I'll write it. Take your pencil and then you can put on one.
I got 19. Well, I got 32. 32?
Double check?
You have 39? Oh, yeah.
What do you have?
19.
And the 9 is first. Guess what? Number 91.
I'm gonna use.
Oh, that's for the C. Let's write it down here. So write your 1.
Okay, when you have your number written on your paper, give me a thumbs up.
Okay.
Miss Gibson, get a test. A test.
Oh, did you have 15? You have 15 lines? Okay, TT, so we're going to talk about how many lines are on our pumpkins, and I want to see how many yours is. We're going to see who has the most. So I want to see, because
You need to have my
I need to see how many you have. That way we can share it with our
32.
friends.
No, that's 30.
Are you sure? Let's put a 1.
You want the
1.
Turn it over so you can see them better.
200.
I write it in a yellow, and then
200.
you can trace it. Let me get a yellow one. I'll highlight it real quick. So put 1.
That's still a lot, isn't it?
That's the number 15. If you raise your hand.
I do.
Julian, how many did yours have?
I'm 19.
You had 19?
You beat me because I get 18 actually.
And Milo, you had 18?
And me,
And Henry, how many did you have?
let me see. I'm just gonna write it. I have a 2 and a 0.
A 2 and a 0. So you had 20 lines. Wow. Kinley, how many did you have? You have 20?
I think it's you, Julia. That's bragging.
Okay, so make sure we're listening so our friends can tell Henry. Make sure we're listening ears so we can hear our other friends how many they have. Tia, how many did you have? TT, what about you? How many did you have?
How many have C?
You had 15. 1 and a 5. Okay, so it was a tie between Tia, Kinley, and Henry. You guys all had 20 lines. That's a lot.
Julian. I have more than Julian.
I know, you guys all tied for the most.
And you.
Okay, if you are ready for the next part, raise your pointer finger. If you are ready, remember Henry. You are right. Raise your pointer finger. We're not talking. Henry, pull your mask up, buddy. Thank you. If you are ready and you are quietly have your finger up, we're going to go to this box down here. So, you guys are going to have to guess. Do you think your pumpkin, when we put it in a bucket of water, see that bucket of water back there on the short table? Milo, do you see the bucket of water behind you? Right there. We're gonna test all of our pumpkins to see if it will sink, which means it will go to the bottom of the water, or if it will float, which means it stays on top of the water. So, yeah, so everybody circle your guess. What you think is going to happen. If you think it's going to float, circle the first one, or you can color it in. If you think it's going to sink, color the second one on the bottom.
Which one do you think, Julian? Which one do you think? Mine's gonna it floats.
They can do that, they can listen to the book if they want.
Mine's gonna
You know what, you don't wanna,
Okay, when you
I thought that
circled or colored your guess,
the
raise your
booking
hand
is
for me.
for them to listen to you.
When you circled or colored your guess, raise your hand for me.
Next set of workers, they can do
Okay.
that now, or they can work on this. It doesn't matter.
So, when you circled or colored your guess, make sure you raise your
And I
hand.
test first.
And we're quiet. I'm gonna call on someone who's quiet. All right, Tia, let's see. Tia, what did you circle? Do you think it's gonna float or sink? You think it's gonna float? Okay, so bring your pumpkin back here. And remember how we carry it with 2 hands on the bottom. Thank you. Okay, then we're gonna gently put our pumpkin in there. Okay, everyone see? Tia, is it sinking or floating? It's floating. It's on the top of the water. So Tia, were you correct? Did you think it would sink or did you think it would float? So Tia was correct. Hers is floating.
Can we just mine now?
Okay, so remember I'm gonna call on someone who's quietly waiting patiently. Kinley. So Kinley, do you think yours is gonna sink or float? Do you think yours is gonna float? Ooh. Hers is doing what, guys? Is it sinking or floating?
Flow.
Floating.
Hers is floating. Okay.
No, it's not. It's just
Or the stem was touching. Yeah, if we added more water, the stem would be up higher. Okay, Kinley. leave yours right there while it dries.
Can I?
TT's waiting quietly and patiently. So TT, remember we hold it on the bottom with two hands. There you go. Okay, we're gonna put it in here. TT, do you think it's gonna float or sink? You think maybe float? Did you put sink on your paper? That was your guess. Okay, we'll see if it sinks. Ooh, is it sinking or is it floating? It's floating.
Floating? Yeah,
Yep.
it's floating. It's hard to see it, but it is.
All right. Very good. And we're gonna let them dry for a little while, okay? So, Julian, everybody carry it by the bottom. There you go. Thank you.
You put sink.
Alright, Julian's, let's see what we're see. What's Julian's pumpkin doing? Is it sinking, or Julian, did you think it would sink or float? You thought it would float, so is his floating or sinking? His is floating, it's sitting on top of the water. Okay, Milo. Milo, you think it's gonna sink? Alright. Everyone, what is Milo's doing? Milo's
First one, sink.
Milo's in float.
It's
They should all.
floating. It's still moving. It's floating, yep.
The water's getting bigger.
I
Everybody's
know.
they're all in the float.
Okay, Milo, or Henry. Henry, bring your pumpkin up and hold it by the bottom.
Their skins are so big, it's making them.
Okay, we're gonna.
Thinking of that.
Okay.
Ooh, mine's floating.
Henry, did you think it would sink or float? You circled float on your paper, I
That
see
water
it.
is getting there, though.
It's floating.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna set it right here so that it dries.
Oh, wait, no, it didn't circle.
I have one.
Alright, everyone put theirs in there? Yeah, okay. So, what did we discover? That's one of our words this week.
want to circle float, so I might have to erase that.
Okay, so, what did we all discover? Discover is one of our words that we, or this week. That means when we see something we didn't know would happen. So, you're gonna, everyone hold up your crayon for me. You're gonna need your paper again, one more time. So, we're gonna circle or color. Milo, hold your pencil up.
Is it time for snacks yet?
Not yet. We're gonna hold up your pencil or your crayon, and we're gonna color or circle what happened. So, what did we discover? What did all of our pumpkins do?
Float.
They all floated. So we're gonna color or circle this one up here. That means they floated.
Did you test yours?
I did test mine last week.
Hey, look what I'm doing. I'm just circling a bunch of times.
Hey Milo, we're quietly circling. Quietly circle it.
Paper clip.
After you have circled or colored float, put your paper back in the pocket of your tray. So Tia, put your paper in the pocket of your tray for me. Put your paper in the pocket of your tray when you're done. Okay,
I'm done.
so when you're done with your paper, put your paper in the pocket of your tray. Henry, put your paper in the pocket of your tray. And we also don't need our art box anymore, so put that in the pocket too. Thank you. Okay, I cut my pumpkin open last week. So and remember, put your art box in your pocket, buddy. We don't need it anymore.
I did one.
Thank you so much. Okay. mean group B. With group B. So I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna go around and show you what it looks like in there. And if you want to, you don't have to, you can stick your hand in there and see what it feels like. Remember our 5 senses? What are our 5 senses? Touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smell. Very good. So we're going to use our sense of touch. If you want to, you can see what it feels like in there. Or you can use your sense of sight and see what it looks like. What's it feel like? It feels gooey. Kenley said it feels gooey. It feels what? It feels hard in there? Yeah. Some of my seeds might be kind of hard.
I want to take one out.
TT, you can either look at it or do you want to touch it? You don't have to. You want to touch it? You can touch the outside or you can touch the inside if you'd like. Okay, what's the outside feel like? Oh, yeah, so what color is this? Starts with orange. Yeah, that TT used his sense of sight, and he told me that the outside of the pumpkin is the color orange. And TT, what does the outside feel like? Is it bumpy or smooth? It's bumpy. Yeah. So TT touched the outside of it. That's what it feels like. I'll come around to everyone, I promise.
I can do that for you. You got it?
Ooh, what did it feel like? It felt bumpy in there? What do you see in there, Julian? You see the seeds?
It's bumpy on the top, but inside it's not.
Yeah, so Henry, he made a good point. On the top part, it's bumpy up here, but then on the inside, it wasn't bumpy. So it kind of,
Can I
kind
do
of
it now?
slimy. Yep, Milo, I'm coming to you next. So I forgot to tell you, the inside of here is called the pumpkin's brains. So that's what you guys are all feeling, pumpkin brains. So Milo, you can touch it, or you can look at it. It's your choice.
But they have soft way. Not the real way. Not real way.
I know. Do you want to touch it?
No,
No, just want to see.
Place them here.
Okay, guys, give me 5.
No small way. They have no
Henry, I'm
soft.
waiting for your 5. I'm waiting for your 5. Thank you. Okay, so you guys made some great observations. So some of you said it was bumpy in there. Some of you said it felt hard in there, or slimy, or gooey. So it is. So you guys, when you take your pumpkins home, you can ask your mom or your dad or somebody at home to help you open your pumpkin, and you can count the seeds in there, and you can see what yours feels like. And it might feel different than this one. I don't know. But it's important. What did we learn yesterday? What is this called? All of these boxes, the life cycle. So,
Flower.
yeah, let's review it.
Pumpkin.
Milo, let's review it together. Ready? So it starts as a what?
Seed.
Then it turns into a,
Flower.
then it turns into a vine, then a, and then a, then an orange pumpkin. So,
Oh yeah.
you guys, raise your hand if you remember, what is a pumpkin? Is it it's a plant. It's also not a vegetable, but what?
It's a plant.
It's a plant, but it's also a fruit. So plants, they have a different life cycle. So it's important to know how a pumpkin grows. So that way, if you take one of these seeds out of your pumpkin, and if you want to grow your own pumpkin, that way, it's good to know this. That way you know how it grows and if it's growing the right way or if you need to add more water. So it's important that we know the plant's life cycle. That way we know how to help our plant or our pumpkin grow. So I'm going to show you this cool video. What did we discover today in the water? What did the pumpkin even do? Did it sink or float? It floated. So,
It's down here.
thank you. Okay, so these, I don't know who these guys are, but they wanted to see if they could make a raft. Does somebody know what a raft is? It's a big word, you might not know it. A raft is this thing right here. So it's something that you can build to float on top of the water. So some of you might use a raft into the pool or if you go to the lake. But these guys, they wanted to see if they could build a raft out of pumpkins and if they would float on it or not. So we're gonna see what happened.
Somebody turn off the lights.
Yeah, Milo, can you get the middle light for me?
It's not me. You can see the red now. Yeah.
Thank you.
We tend to see so good.
Today we're going to be making a raft out of pumpkins. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but here we go.
It's because the pumpkins float.
Wasn't that cool?
Yes, now we're still.
Okay, so really quick, when you go home, you can tell your parents that a pumpkin is a plant and it's a fruit. And what do? Do they sink or do they float?
They float.
They float.
And they
So,
sing sometimes.
your job,
Yeah, I saw
your guys' job today. So guys, also thank you for working really hard. And, yeah, thank you guys for working really hard today during science. So your job now is to put your work box